everyone. Welcome to our Web3 conference. I see we have Carrie and Evan joining us live. Thank you so much for joining in the web conference today. And hello to any virtual listeners that may be out there joining us a little bit later. I hope everyone has had a chance to check their audio and video, that the directions are listed there on the slide. If not, go ahead and click that little gear wheel in the bottom right of your screen. Go ahead and click set up camera and microphone. We'll do a quick audio test. So make sure you set your device, and if you see the little bar moving, click yes, it's working. Good. Once you do that, then just do the video test. If you see yourself, then the video is working. So again, welcome to our web conference. I ask everyone to please just remove any distractions that you may have. Turn off your phone, close the door, put out do not disturb, whatever you need to do so that we can all participate fully. Very importantly, let's do a quality check. Please help me to make sure that everything is correctly. You're going to need to raise your hand, which is the little icon at the bottom middle of your screen there with the hand up. If you click that, that'll show me a raised hand. So if you can see a little red circle in the webcam up in the upper right. Thank you. Evan, can you see the recording? Thank you. And click that again to lower your hand. If you see quality check on the top of the slide, raise hands. Thank you. Thank you. And if you can hear me adequately, please let me know. Go ahead and raise your hand if you can hear me. Am I loud and clear for everyone? Great. Thank you. Okay, so topic today, going back to our text, Thinking Collaboratively by D. Randy Garrison, we're going to cover some of the main points of Chapter 3, Technology and Thinking. Our objectives today are to, by the end of this workshop, participants will be able to describe the positive influence of technology on collaborative thinking. Participants will be able to describe the potential negative effect of technology on thinking and learning. And participants will be able to define confirmation bias. All right, let's do a quick little activity here. Again, using that raise hand tool that you used during the quality check. Do you agree that technology has increased the number of people that I communicate with on a daily basis? If you agree with that, go ahead and raise your hand. For my virtual listeners, pause the recording and please include your response in your missed class summary. Okay, great. Go ahead and lower your hands, please. So it looks like for everyone basically agrees that technology has increased the number of people that we communicate with on a daily basis. I do have a quick little YouTube video. This is a Google employee, and she's going to talk a bit about how they use collaborative technology in their everyday work life. I'm going to go ahead and put the link there in the chat. And if you could just, it's about 4 minutes long. We're going to go ahead and watch that. And once you finish the video, if you could raise your hand and let me know that you're done. Okay, we should be just about finished. Everyone raise their hand if they've completed the video. All right, great. So, um, so after viewing that, we give you a little overview on how some Google employees use technology in their everyday life. What's an example of technology? And we'll say other than, like a landline phone or email that you currently use or potentially could use at your work. If possible, if you could just type it in the chat. To do that, you're going to hit the little balloon icon in the bottom right. And then you can just type in your response there to the chat. So is there an example of technology that you use either uh, during your working life? We'll say other than email or other than a landline. Dropbox. Okay, thanks, Evan. That's a great example. That's a great way to save files. Okay. So again, chapter 3 is about technology and thinking. And technology enables asynchronous communication that supports communities of learners and promotes collaborative thinking. When we think about technology, the influence that it has on thinking, I think probably the first thing everyone thinks about is just the connection that technology allows us with communities over time and space. It also encourages critical and creative thinking and facilitates deeper, excuse me, deeper engagement and connection with the content that you're trying to learn. So let's take a little poll. The question is, technology supports, okay, Carrie has lost. Okay. All right, well, I'll just leave the poll question up while we wait for Carrie to possibly re-enter. Um, Technology supports collaborative thinking by connecting communities over time and space, encouraging critical and creative thinking, facilitating deeper engagement and connection with content, or 4, all of the above. So let's create a little poll here. There we go. So looking at our options 1, 2, 3, or 4, I would like for you to go ahead and select your choice. Okay, 4, all of the above. It looks like that is the majority, what the majority chose, which is, sorry, and yes, Carrie also agrees, 4, all of the above. And I would say everyone is correct. Technology supports collaborative thinking with all 3 of those points. Technology and thinking. Although computers improve accessibility to information, they cannot replace the role of people for innovative thinking. So although technology is wonderful and helps us have access to a lot of information and connections with a lot of people, it doesn't, it still ultimately does not replace the role of people for creative content and taking what technology can do and moving it to the next level. So let's do a little activity. I would like for you to use, let's see, we lost our slide there. Okay, sorry, slight technical difficulty. I'm going to move back to where we were. Okay, so computers can make information more accessible, but it takes people to construct new ideas. Our two options are true or false, and if you could use your black or your whiteboard tools at the top there and select the icon that looks like a little rectangle and place it on your selection for an answer. True or false, computers can make information more accessible, but it takes people to construct new ideas. Great. I see two rectangles on true. Thank you. I also believe that is true. Technology and social media can increase the risk of confirmation bias and avoidance of conflicting opinions and facts. So bias, confirmation bias is by definition, if we look back at our text, the avoidance of contrary perspectives and facts. So again, technology can connect us to many sources that we often have to make choices about what we choose to explore. I think that this causes us to narrow our focus to sources that align with our biases. So again, think back to confirmation bias. Do you think that because we have access to so many different sources that we maybe subconsciously select sources that only align with our biases? Let's go ahead and have a discussion about that. If anyone would like to comment, if you could raise your hand and we'll give you the microphone.
Can you guys hear me? If you can hear me, I'm just going to go ahead and answer the question. Hopefully it's coming through on the recording. So I think that the answer to this is yes, because I think even though there's so many choices with having technology now, I think people still tend to veer towards things that are familiar to them or things that relate they can relate to. So like even with like news sources or stuff with politics, like I go to a different source than what, let's say, my kids do. So I think that it definitely still we still narrow our focus on our own, even though we have so much available to us.
Great. Okay, thank you for sharing, Gary. She probably can't hear us. I'll go ahead and type that thank you to her. And Evan, if you wanted to go ahead and jump in, if you had something to add.
Yeah, I would say that as much as I think it is people subconsciously doing it. It's also algorithmic. Like Facebook is geared to show you things that you're going to agree with, or like a lot of the social media, or when you search things on your computer, next thing you know, you see an ad up for that exact thing you mentioned yesterday, or even now, people be telling me that when they're talking about something, next thing they know, when they're online, all the ads are there of that thing, like phones are listening to them. So, at, part of it is subconscious, but another part of it is everything around us digitally is pushing it down our throats.
Thanks, Evan. Yeah, I think that's a good point. Like you said, whether it's subconsciously or also, some of these algorithms out there, and I think we're hearing more about it in the news, even more so than we realized. How social media kind of follows more than you think they do, have more information on you than they think, and you start seeing those ads pop up. So let's go ahead and move on. But thank you. Um, so human factors engineering is the integration of technology is embraced in many forms to enhance human performance and reduce cognitive load. So a major goal of human factors engineering is always to improve human performance and efficiency and effectiveness without causing any harm to the person. One example related to what we're talking about today, technology and thinking, with medical simulation. This picture shows more of a low fidelity, but technology is still involved. And by using technology for medical scenarios, you can get the group involved. People can get hands-on knowledge and also, talk it out, act out a scenario like in real life, but the benefit is that no one is actually at risk. That's not a real patient. So you have the freedom to make a mistake and not actually kill anybody. So um, along those lines, we'll do another quick activity here. This time, let's use the pointer tool. So which picture of the two, the right or the left, which picture is an example of a positive interaction with technology in the workplace? Um, You can just take a look at those and use the pointer tool up at the top left. It's like a little arrow and point to which picture, or however you want to select it. You can use a pencil or a shape also. Which picture do you think shows a positive interaction with technology in the workplace? And for our virtual listeners, if you could just include your response in the missed class summary and maybe give a quick sentence about which one or why you chose the one you did. Okay, great. Did you have something to say, Evan? I see it looks like both of our participants chose the picture on the left, which shows someone on the web conference. Everyone at the table seems engaged. I'm sorry, Evan, did you want to talk? Did you have something to say? I saw your hand up. No? Okay. Again, yeah, that picture, everyone is engaged. The picture on the right, there's plenty of technology present. We see a web conference phone, there's a laptop, we've got the phone. Everyone has their individual devices, but with the person here with their back turned, that's a pretty clear signal they're not really interacting with one another or sharing any relevant information. Okay. So again, we hit some of the main points of Chapter 3, Technology and Thinking. Technology is great for bringing communities together over time and space. We can also use technology to encourage critical and creative thinking amongst those connections in our learning community. It can also facilitate deeper engagement and connection with the content, allowing you to make some of those more deeper connections than just reading lecture to. But there are some negative aspects of technology. One thing we can, whether consciously or subconsciously, we might tend to only seek out information that reaffirms what we already believe. That's confirmation bias. So those are kind of some of the main points we hit today. So overall, how do you feel about your understanding of the effect of technology on learning and thinking? Now let's just use our emoticons. I believe if you look at the icons down there at the bottom center and click your picture, then you should get some options. Yeah, if you click your picture, it says My Status and Settings. If you click that, you'll get some options for maybe how you're feeling. Okay. Happy, surprised, sad, confused. And for our virtual listeners, maybe you just pick a one-word emotion to include. Okay, we've got some cute responses there from our participants today. I'll interpret those as both positive. All right, so the references, again, we used our textbook, Thinking Collaboratively, Learning in a Community of Inquiry, and there's a link to that YouTube video from our Google employee. Thank you. That's all for this session. Does anyone have any questions that I can answer? And for our virtual listeners, please submit questions you may have by email. Okay, if that's all, I will go ahead and end the session for today. Thank you again for participating, and I hope to see you next week.